Good afternoon, everybody. I hope that you all received my email and that you aren't sitting in the empty classroom wondering where I am. Uh, this is a wintry day outside, and you all have a great deal of work to do, and I thought it would be better if I gave you those 2 hours to work on your assignment, preferably mine, but any assignment that happens to be hanging over you. And when you have a moment, I hope you will listen to the two videos that I'm recording here, which I hope will give you some sort of closure to the course and also give you some insights into what lies ahead. So when I was first asked to teach this course, Susan Kanaba, our Associate Dean Undergraduate, came to me and asked me if I would be willing. And I told her that I needed to think about it. I had serious reservations about teaching this course. It's not a course that I had designed myself. And also, I have had experience of teaching required first-year undergraduate courses in the past. Many years ago, I used to teach a course that was required for all first-year MIT students, which was called Introduction to Information Retrieval. And it was not it was not the most popular course on the curriculum. Let's just put it that way. And when I thought of teaching a first-year undergrad course again, the first memory that came up was the memory of my course evaluations. And not all my course evaluations, but the ones that stick in my memory, such as this one. Not as exciting as watching paint dry, but a bit more exciting than watching grass grow. Or as dry as 1,000 hair dryers blowing on the Sahara. Okay. Or about me, he reminds me of Ned Flanders on The Simpsons. Oakley dokley. Or, this is my favorite, the prof tried his best, but he was way too old. And I thought to myself, well, if I was way too old at 40, I'm going to be even way older at 60, and it might not be a good idea. However, I held on. I didn't make my decision right away. And as time passed, I found my memory becoming a little more balanced. I gradually remembered that I had had some good evaluations as well as some not so good evaluations, that the overall scores had been solid, and also that I had generally had a lot of fun while I was teaching the course, even though some of the evaluations weren't too complimentary. And that leads me to my first lesson that I want to leave you with, which is give yourself time to get over the availability heuristic. Naturally, uh, as a human being, when I was first confronted with the possibility of teaching a first-year course, the immediately available memories were memories which were negative, which had affected me in a negative way, and had I acted on the spot, I would have said no, and that would have been a shame. Because as time went on, I found that my opinions became more balanced. And I would urge you to give yourself time to get over the availability heuristic, both in terms of your immediate responses to stimuli, but also in the broader process of forming opinions and forming theses that you use in your university work. Ideas take time to germinate. And I would urge you, don't be satisfied with first impressions. And don't be satisfied with the most easily available research resources. Give yourself time to dig below the surface. Remember, work is not just something that you do at your desk. Work is something you do while you're thinking. And you can think away from your desk as well. We think about things while we do our laundry, while we cook dinner, while we walk the dog, while we do all the various things in our day. Get your ideas moving as soon as possible and let them stew over a low heat while you go about the business of your daily life. We've all done all-nighters at one time or another. We've all sat down the night before an assignment was due and just plowed through to get the writing done. And if that happens, fair enough. However, try not to make that all-nighter be the first moment that you thought about your thesis, thought about your topic, thought about your ideas. Hopefully, when you sit down to do that hasty work, you are at least building on a set of thoughts that have been germinating for some time. So that's my first lesson. Give yourself time. Doesn't necessarily mean spend all your time at work, just means give yourself some time. So after I thought about it for a bit, I talked to people. I talked to former instructors for the course, and even more important, I talked to former TAs. And they told me what had worked and what hadn't in the past, and they didn't throw up or laugh in my face at the thought of me teaching the course. Which leads me to my next lesson. Get help. Okay? We have a bad habit in academia of announcing our insights as if we pulled them out of our bodily orifices with no effort whatsoever. And that is simply not true. I remember the science fiction author Nalo Hopkinson, with whom I used to work at the North York Central Library, commenting about all of the complicated Jamaican heritage stuff that she uses in her novels. And she says, I looked all this stuff up. That's what research is, moving beyond your initial state of understanding by getting help from other research and from other people. The people should be people who understand your task, TA, the prof, academic advisors, or who understand you, but don't try to grow ideas without watering them with help from outside your own mind. So that's lesson number 2. So in order to make my decision, I decided to take Keely for a walk. And I took the dog to the off-leash area, and she immediately started hunting for a stick. This is a thing she does. When I let her off the leash, she immediately starts rummaging around for a stick, and it's got to be the right stick. I don't know what criteria she uses, but she hunts and she hunts and she hunts until she finds a stick that is just right, and then she grabs that. And so my third lesson would be find your stick. By that I mean find your angle. That's what all this stuff about the thesis statement was about. Find your angle. Try different ones. See which one feels right. And above all, which one would be fun to do. Research can be so much fun if you treat it in the way a dog treats an open field. There's so much to investigate. There's so much territory to cover. There's so much to learn. And so finally, I thought to myself, I'm going to make mistakes. I have to face that from the outset. I know from experience that it takes me at least 2 passages through a course, sometimes 3, to really get a handle on the content. And so my 4th lesson is, don't be afraid of your mistakes. Fix them and carry on. You are human. You will make mistakes. We all do. I wasn't asked to teach this course because Susan Kanaba thought I would make no mistakes. I was asked because she trusted me to find them and fix them as best I could. That is the essence of being a good researcher, and it is also the essence of being employable. Making mistakes and not melting down, not beating yourself up, not blaming other people, not causing an emotional ruckus all over the place, but by rolling up your sleeve, acknowledging the mistake, and fixing it as best you can. Okay, continue to part 2.